speak. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Dork Entertainment. We've got a very special video for you today. I've got Samit here with me. We're going to be checking out, or we have already checked out, and we're going to be doing a review of A Quiet Place Part 2.
Oh yeah, we watched it yesterday, and well, what an experience! I really liked it, but we'll get more into it. But Quiet Place Part 2, very exciting.
Very exciting, yes. This whole thing's created by John Krasinski.
Yep.
And I believe he is the sole writer in this movie as well. I think he was joint writer in the Part 1.
Yeah, and he directed as well.
He directed.
He's a director of the movie, so it's excited to dive in.
Yes. Before we go ahead though, we do appreciate all of your support. So please subscribe to the channel and share the videos if you can. We do appreciate everything that you guys do for us, and we do this just for the fans anyway. So, we'll get into it. Before we start as well, sorry, there are spoilers. So there are some spoilers in this spoiler discussion. We'll go into that a little bit later. Let's just start off the top of the bat with our ratings. So I'll go first. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. I love this movie. I thought it's gem of a sequel, and it's I really enjoyed Part 1, and I feel like this just takes it further into the storyline. So that's 8 out of 10 for me. Yeah,
it's an 8 out of 5, 8.5 out of 10 for me. It's just it continues the tension, continues the great directing. And the great acting as well. The cast is brilliant. The story is an interesting one. It takes it to a different sort of place as well. Definitely, it's a great watch. It's something, if you were a fan of the first, it just continues it on. 8.5 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, it's funny because in the first movie. We're talking a little bit about the story now, so there are spoilers here ahead. So please watch the movie first if you want, and then come and continue the video afterwards for the spoiler discussion.
Oh yeah.
In Part 1, they start off on day 30 something, somewhere around there.
Somewhere around there. It's definitely actually not day 30. I think it's more into that. It's a bit more into it.
A bit further.
A bit further into it. It might be 100 and something or 200 something like that.
But in this one, in Part 2, we start off at day 1. So first day of when the aliens actually come to Earth, how they get here, that's all shown. And, this whole movie, it is about a family. And that's the main thing. It is about that family. And this Part 2, I found, it sort of expands a bit further into the community a little bit. It is mainly still about that core family, but it does branch out a bit. I found.
Yeah, I just want to say that first scene.
First scene is great.
It's remarkable. I just love how they everything's calm. John Krasinski's at the same store where he famously his son got that
space shuttle
toy, and he's buying fruits there. So it's like everything's all normal, and then he goes to the baseball ground where his son is playing, and then that's where they out of nowhere they just see something flying in the sky, or something crashing down to Earth. It looks like a meteor, it looks like a comet.
Yeah, we don't know.
It could be a spaceship, but it does, and it's just, to me, the reality of that, like the way that's filmed, it's just beautifully done.
Yeah.
The way that people would react to something like that is, I reckon, how they would react.
And movies, they have most of the time they have a big build up in the beginning and it leads to something.
Yeah.
This feels like it's a continuation. Apart from that scene in the beginning, it pretty much continues where it left off at the end of Part 1.
Yeah, it did.
And it's a bit of a cliffhanger at the end of Part 1, but then it continues from that.
Yeah.
And we get to see where Emily Blunt takes the family, and the places they go, it is mainly still about that family, and
then there's a new character that's introduced, and I forgot his actor's name, but he's in 28 Days Later, and he's a
really good actor.
He's in Batman Begins as a scarecrow. I forgot his name. Sorry, guys.
But he is a brilliant actor, I got to say.
Yeah, he's a great actor. He's a seasoned actor, and he's He's played it pretty well. Cillian Murphy is his name.
Yes.
And yeah, he's the friend. So he was a friend of John Krasinski and Emily Blunt's characters, and he finds the family now without John Krasinski, and it's just it's interesting how because he's lost everyone, that character, and he's very hesitant to sort of meet new people. He doesn't really want to I guess make that connection again with other people again, and after losing his son, and after losing his wife,
and Cillian's character has been out with the community, whereas the family with Lee, the main family in the first movie, it was just about them, and they've been enclosed off from the rest of society. But Cillian's character has been out and about, and he knows what people have become, savages, and it's quite dangerous, pretty much, to live in the open world now.
It's crazy. We meet one of the savages actually. They look interesting. They look malnourished. They look like they're all very unhealthy. Some of them look like they had burn marks on them. So I don't know if something's going on there, some sort of ritualistic type of stuff. But they don't talk. They don't really say anything. They're just really creepy looking.
Yeah.
And
I guess the main weapon in this movie is, if you hopefully you've watched the first part, is the deaf girl's, the daughter's hearing aid.
Yeah.
And now how that affects the aliens. So she has her own part in this movie as well. She goes on a mission to save everyone, pretty much, to get that noise or that sound
into a radio frequency, into the radio basically.
Yeah, so it can be played.
Being played across I'm guessing that whole state, and it's interesting. They got to go to this island and sort of get that frequency to be playing there. I gotta say though, it really, as much as we've talked about the different locals and I guess the core family, I actually believe that the movie is about the coming of age of those two, the children.
Yeah. Definitely.
The daughter and the son. And it's really just mainly about them. The daughter is very much like her father, and that she really wants to help people and has that sort of inkling to, she's got something like this frequency. She wants to help people with it.
Yeah.
The son is very he's very closed off, very cautious, doesn't want to do anything, just wants to be safe. And he gets put in testing. Both of them get put in testing situations to really. And the finale, big finale, is based around those two characters. Yeah, based around both of them, and about how they sort of, they step up, and their journeys take them to interesting places. So I gotta say, it's as much as I've heard a lot of complaints about. Well, we wanted to know what happens in the world after that. What happens with the frequency? Does it kill him off? And to that I say, I believe the story is a very grounded story. It's about these characters, and yes, the situation is what it is. There's aliens and it's apocalypse basically, but I reckon sticking with these characters and their journeys and their stories, I think, and telling the story that way, I think is the way to go. So just touching on the ending there, if you've seen the first movie as well, they figure out how to defeat these characters, and then you see aliens running in the CCTV towards the farm. Yeah. And then there's the shotgun reload, and that's the end. Yeah. I found this movie sort of ends in a similar fashion. Yeah. Where they reach their goal and it ends there. It's very abrupt. Yeah. It's an abrupt ending. Yeah. What it sort of tells me is from what I hear, they're not making another movie, A Quiet Place Part 3, but it's a sort of ending where you could extend on from that. They leave it open for one, I guess. I guess when you actually think about a lot of the stories come to a head, right? That frequency gets played on the radio. Yeah. But it's just they leave it open. I'd be interested if this becomes like a TV show. Yeah. That would where they show different families or different sides of the set in this world. I'd be interested to see that. Yeah. Another interesting thing was, spoiler, the aliens can't swim. Yeah, they drown. Yeah, so the whatever meteor or whatever it is that they came on that lands, it lands in America,
So you would assume that it's only in America that
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, I'm just making an assumption here, but they wouldn't have been able to swim out to the other countries, right? Because they can't swim. There are, things like, well, they may have gotten onto a boat, etc.
Yeah, like a shipping container or
Yeah.
something like that. And
But realistically,
whatever.
like the meteor lands in America, and
It's in that continent.
It's in that continent. They can't get out of that continent, right? Unless any other means. So yeah, that's there's so many ways they can take this further.
Well,
if they
that's the
decide
thing,
to.
right? Like, as I said, like the story is very focused on these characters, but the world is an interesting one that they've created. And I reckon, it could be further explored and looked into, because I think it's an interesting sort of world where they've got these type of creatures that are just, I reckon they're unique in a way. Not really like, to be blind aliens that can only hear, like have the sense of hearing heightened.
And that sort of started. What was that other movie? There was another movie where
Bird Box,
where they sort of played on something similar, where
you're not supposed to look or something.
You can't look at whatever the alien entity or whatever it is, or you die pretty much. So it sort of started that sort of thing about with the senses. So it was a brilliant idea, and it's worked. And I really loved part one. I really enjoyed part two as well.
Mate, we watched it in Dolby Atmos. That was sick. That was on another level.
Yeah, I mean, in a movie like this where a lot of it is quiet, and there's a lot of scenes in there where you see it from the perspective of, the deaf daughter, and it's just like it's the sound is just like it's like a numbing sort of sound, and then all of a sudden you're brought back into reality of
sound mixing is on another level.
Yeah,
I think this is
with
just
the
so
alien noises.
Yeah.
Little footsteps, tiniest little things that you step and you notice all these sort of things.
Yeah, definitely.
And it comes out in Dolby Atmos, it's brilliant. Like
we watched it in a Dolby Atmos theater, and I thought it was just amazing. It's an amazing experience. You have to watch it if you can in a Dolby Atmos theater. I think it brings it to another level. And
there are a couple of cameos in this as well. So of course there's a cameo from John Krasinski. Yeah. Which of course because they showed day one, he's there from day one. There is a cameo from Jimon Hansu.
Yeah, Digimon Hanso,
yeah,
he's in this, so that's interesting.
It's
he dies very interestingly.
Yeah, there's a bit of a weird way how he dies.
I didn't understand the way. I didn't get why he died.
They could have extended his role, but they sort of finished it in a way. I just okay.
It's a weird death. It's just an odd death. I don't really get what he was doing there.
Yeah. So to sum it up, I guess. So we talk about the CGI as well, because the design of the creature is amazing.
Yeah,
it's something I haven't seen before. And it's something no one has seen before, like the way they've sort of, it's about.
Well, it's interesting because they've got this like sort of hardened like shell to them.
Yeah.
And then when obviously that frequency is played, it sort of comes off a bit.
Yeah.
That's when you're supposed to shoot at them, the inside, and that's how you kill them.
And it's just like an auditory thing on their face. Yeah. There's no eyes.
It looks like one massive ear with teeth.
Yeah. So it's a very unique design. Yeah. And big slashes, of course, to run so fast and to kill. So I thought it was. I thought if you enjoyed the first movie, I feel like you're going to enjoy this as a continuation of that movie.
Hell yeah!
You probably shouldn't. I think you can compare both movies because they're a little bit different, but the same. But they're same but different.
Yeah. To me, it feels like just a continuation. Yeah. So it just feels like it's part of that.
Yeah. If I sit down and watch part one and straight away watch part two,
it just feels like one movie.
It just feels like one big movie.
Yeah, one big movie. So that's good in that the directing is very consistent throughout, and that's Krasinski at his best.
Yes. So I would definitely recommend it. If I had 8 thumbs up from me, 8 out of 10 for me, I would definitely recommend this movie. Go out and see it in the theater if you can, because the sound is so good when you're watching in the theater. But it's definitely
for me it builds the tension in a similar way that the first one did. Because this movie is all about tension and how they deal with it.
I feel like speaking about tension, it borrows from like Jurassic Park, Jaws, like those type of movies about building the tension.
Yeah, and that's if you're borrowing from it, those are the movies you want to borrow from. Yeah, those did the tension so and well in those movies. And it works really well. It's just a very well made movie. I like it.
Yeah. So it's 2 thumbs up from both of us.
Yes.
Please check out this movie if you can. Support the movie because it's a great movie. Please let us know what you thought about the movie if you've watched it in the comments below. Please like the video, share it as well, and subscribe if you can, because we do appreciate all of your support. And we shall see you in the next video. Peace.